Do you want to say your name today, or do you want to remain anonymous? And you're not worried about saying it now, like?
No, because ex post facto is a real thing. So
yeah.
And there's no people murdered. There's none of that.
But do you worry, like, okay, let's say, I shouldn't say this because then maybe you won't want to air this, but let's say all of a sudden you're arrested for something else, maybe drug related, but you're not guilty of it. And then they say, well, he was on this podcast and he was talking about, like it shows a pattern. Good for you. That's why you're a badass, even though you don't
I'm
use
also an idiot. So, I've never done a podcast. I don't. Public speaking makes me a little nervous.
I was going to ask you that. How often do you think you tell this story? Like,
well, I've only told it to a close friend. So,
you want to tell me about the time you were kidnapped?
A mutual friend of ours said, "Did you hear so-and-so got robbed and lost 300 pounds in his house?" And we were mutual friends. So we're all flash forward. I don't even know which order to tell this in. Because I'm in Manhattan Beach.
I just go there and do comedy. You go there and get kidnapped. That's the different path we're on.
Yeah, well, as I take a left, I didn't notice some kind of dude. It was the streets were kind of empty, and some guys walking from across the street behind me, and I just naturally, from living this life, we were extremely paranoid or careful, whatever you want to call it. We were very cautious and diligent always. So, is this guy is he trying to fight me or something in the street? Right. I'm waiting for him to say something, and as I'm thinking that, the guy from behind me reaches around and puts a fish gut with those. I hate knives. He puts a knife to my neck that's about like that.
Yeah.
About like 3-inch little blade with that curve that looks like you gut fish with it.
Yeah.
Wraps his arm around my neck just super fast, puts that knife to my neck as the guy from the side now appears and shoves a gun in my ribs. As the guy in front now pulls out a gun.
But it seems like the fish knife was excessive.
It was. I just thought, I'm just getting robbed.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, and then as I'm walking, he says, "You're Jason." And I said, "Oh, you must have the wrong Jason." Anyways, I thought they were just going to take my shit and shoot me in the head and throw me in the sand. I'm sitting there, and I didn't even get to make a decision as a white van pulls up. And vans are just...
It's never good.
No.
Unless they're doing electrical work at your house.
Yeah, and it wasn't one of those Mercedes executive vans.
When they were loading in the van, you go, shotgun!
I didn't bring that up. It's a good point.
I'll tell you, I have always thought if I'm ever kidnapped at gunpoint, I'm calling shotgun. I've always had that in my head as my plan. So at this point, you're probably thinking, to get out of paying the $1 million, he's going to pin this.
They're trying to pin it on anybody.
Right. But you don't think he really thought you took it, do you?
I don't know.
Huh.
They didn't. By the end of the evening, it was very clear that I didn't, because at the end of the evening, I'm forced to take a lie detector test.
Whoa! They have an unregistered lie detector machine?
Yeah.
Really?
No, I went to an actual... So let's not...
This is a hell of an operation.
This entire ordeal, I'm not done with it until 9 in the morning, so I was about 12 hours where I was held, where I couldn't leave if I wanted to.
Were you tied to a chair like the movies?
No. But they kept a guy.
Were you
the
waterboarded?
Entire experience... No waterboarding, which is fantastic.
Did they stick stuff up your fingernails?
No, they just would walk around and punch me at random, and a couple times, all of them would gang up on me So we're getting out of order.
I'm not. This sounds like the perfect order for me.
Well, we're almost right there.
Okay.
So the van, I get in van, see, pass the test, pass lie detector test. I walk out. The guy tells him, and then he looked at me and said, "Okay." He goes, "Well, I'm sorry. Would you like a ride home?"
That's very polite.
I said,